Alright, so we are ready to go. We're going to image the entire plate, and we are going to select which colonies we want to be picking. Now before I did that, before we continue with that, we have used pin A1 to touch a couple of colonies on there. So we're picking about 2,300 colonies, so one contaminated well isn't that big of a deal, but just for the sake of showing you how you can manually wash that thing, I'm going to manually wash it. So I'm going to come over to this little robot diagnostics window, which you can get to by view, diagnostics, and then this guy will pop up, and it kind of shows you what's going on. I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to wash head, and I'm going to go to QPix Bath 1, which is that back one. For some reason, everything is front to back, except for the wash stations. I don't know why, but whatever. So it's going to wash it in the alcohol, and then it's going to be done, and now I'm going to dry it. So I'm going to go to dry head, dryer, and then it will go over to that little corner, and there's a little light, and it just dries it for a second. Okay, so now we are ready to do our actual colony picking. So once everything has been calibrated, once our settings are the way we want them, we're going to go to partial. And I'm going to select the entire plate. You could select a region, so let's say if you did quarter plates of one of these big plates, you could define certain parts of it. Like let's say, I'll just show you. Let's say you did quarter plates, you could do, something that looked like that. So I'm really bad at this, apparently. Something that looks like that. But since we want all of them, we're going to turn them all red. I'm going to press continue. And it's going to ask us if we want to align to A1. We've already done that, so we're alright. So we're going to hit no. Prepare picking script with above parameters. Double check everything. Yes. And it's going to come over here, and now it's going to start imaging. So if we look at that, camera's moving, and we look to the right on the monitor, we can see the pictures. We're going to see all these different colored circles around colonies. We're going to be able to adjust what colonies we want to pick. So each little movement that it does, it's snapping a photo of one of those little sections that we were coloring red. And so now it's done taking pictures. So now it's going to process for a little while. What it does is it sets a threshold for light versus dark. And so anything that is above a threshold will turn completely white, and anything that's below it will turn completely black. And that is what it sees as a colony. So then based on that image, it will apply a few metrics like, well, what is the area, what is the roundness, what is the diameter, and based on the values that or the cutoffs that we give to each one of those values, we will get a subset of the colonies that it sees there in order to actually do the picking. So as long as we are above about 2,300 colonies, which is about how many 6 384 well plates will give to us, then we're good to go. So after it's finished processing, it asks me if I want to display the image data. I'm going to press yes. And now we get this dialog box, and we have a bunch of images, so I can click on each individual image. And we can see all the different colonies. And there's a bunch of different colored circle types. A yellow means it's kind of a repeat, so it's ignoring it. Green means it's planning on picking it. And if you hover over a colony, you get all this information about it. So I'm hovering over that yellow one, and it's being discarded. Well, that's a repeat, but if we go to a green one, It's not being discarded, but it'll tell you the diameter, the area, the axis ratio, the roundness, the perimeter, all that crazy stuff. Now, some of these colonies, they didn't get picked for whatever reason. It didn't think that it was a colony. Probably these two were too close together, so it came out looking really, really weird, and it thought it was something else. So it found 40,000 colonies total, but we're only going to be picking about 6,600, or rather there are 6,600 pickable colonies. So if I was to just be happy with this and press go, then it would pick only 2,300 of those. So I'm tempted to do that. Now let's say that I want to narrow it down a little bit, and we can because we have way more colonies than we really need here. We can adjust some of those cutoffs that I was mentioning. Or let's say you have the opposite problem. Let's say you want to pick 2,300, but only 1,000 come up as pickable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to Tools, and then we have these different things that we can adjust. So actually, let's take a quick detour. So this was this threshold thing that I was mentioning, and if we click picture here, hopefully it shows us. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay, so that's a bad picture. Let's try Tools, Threshold, Show Threshold. That's what the computer is saying. So depending on how we change that threshold, it will decide whether, you know, that is a colony worth picking, whether it's round enough, whether it's big enough, what the area is, what the diameter is, and we can adjust that. Right now I'm just going with the automatic threshold, so I'm not going to mess with that. So in doing that, I managed to delete all of the processing that the computer had done for me. So we'll do it again, but we're going to make it a little bit more stringent. So these were the parameters that the computer used in order to find 6,600 pickable colonies. So I'm gonna say that, well, I want my colonies to be in a tighter size range. So I'm gonna go from 3 pixels up to 4 pixels and down from 13 to, let's say, 11. And I'm going to say I want them to have a bigger axis ratio, which means rounder. And I'm going to reprocess. I'm going to say all images, and then we just have to wait for a little while. And there's a lot of images, so it takes its time, but it totally beats picking colonies on your own.
Okay.
So I don't know if I mentioned, sometimes I forget what I've been talking about. So the different colors are signal different, different things about the colony. So green means pick, yellow means it's a duplicate, meaning that some of these images overlap with one another. Red means a discard for one reason or another. Brown means discard for another reason. Blue means discard for another reason, like roundness, axis ratio, whatever. And we can actually hover over that and we'll get some information. So we'll do that real quickly as soon as it finishes processing. Another thing, I showed you that threshold image. So this red box right here, it's called the threshold ROI. That is the threshold region of interest, and that's really the only part that the robot is paying attention to. Now you'll see that there's some weirdness inside of that, like there's some, I think, something like cracked glass from the UV, or cracked plastic rather from the UV. That could be something that might throw off the threshold. So if you want, you can go in there and manually adjust that so you're only getting the area where there's high quality colonies. Okay, so this thing is finished processing. Our hourglass disappeared. I'm going to hit OK. And now we have 2,000 selected colonies, so dang. We are under the amount that we wanted to pick, so we're going to really quickly, let's make it a little bit, we'll say, decrease the stringency. Yeah, I forgot what we started at. Was it 0.72 or 0.73? We'll do that, and then we'll just pick. So we'll reprocess, yes, and we'll come back when this thing is done processing.